If there was a chart that showed a category for whiskey, it would be off the page. I went and bought some Christmas gifts for people, and you know me, I'm buying people liquor and stuff.
Yeah.
And the one I buy the guy the same thing every year, and it's usually $2.99 for this bottle of scotch. This year it's $3.99.
Wow.
And then another one I buy for somebody is usually $89, maybe 99 if I hit the wrong store. So I ordered one, Kane, without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I know these people, they do curbside for me. I pull up and they bring me the receipt, and I'm like, damn, man, like that's a lot of cash because I bought, wine, this, that, and I get home and I look at the line item, I see 149. And I'm like, what was 149? Like I bought a Justin Reserve Isosceles. I thought maybe that was it.
Mhm.
And then I find that, and I'm like, so what's one for? So, oh crap, the wine that whiskey that's usually $89 or $99 is now $149.
That's wild.
And I was like, dude, come on. Like, it's
That's one that like I wonder if it's the raw ingredients are more expensive or they're just that's inflation for the because they can.
I'm not sure it's can. I mean, I think everyone was just boozing out in the last 12 months for COVID. And that's,
Yeah.
I know people that own liquor stores, and they're like, last year they were just printing cash because so many people were drinking. But I think if you just look around, I think they probably have issues getting bottles and labels and raw material and people to make the whiskey and transport the whiskey. And when you talk to people that are producing goods, they're all struggling.
Yeah.
They're having a hard time getting raw materials. They can't get workers for the plants. They can't get transportation. They can't get packaging. And the thing is, okay, wait a minute. You can. It's just going to cost you.
Yeah.
It's anyone can get tickets to the Super Bowl, King. It's just going to cost you $15,000 for standing room only,
Mm.
right? So it's one of those things where you can find people to do things. It's just you're paying through their nose to get them done. What's that other article you got? We'll come back to this one here. What do you got over here?
Yep. So I mean, the Bank of England raised rates surprisingly this morning or overnight for us. So I just curious to get your thoughts on why they chose to do that. I mean, our Fed yesterday said that they're going to be at least anticipating 3 rate hikes in 2022, but nothing right now. So this is surprising, I think, for a lot of people.
I can't say I'm surprised. I feel like there's been rumblings about this for a couple weeks, and that might have already been factored into the market, to be honest. That line down there says UK decision follows hawkish Fed move signaling tightening. Most economists anticipated no change from the BOE. This is my problem. Okay. Most, you know me, right? I
Yeah.
hate saying it, but like me and academics just don't ever get along because it's fun to talk about things, but they never seem to represent the real world. And most economists anticipated no change in the BOE. Well, how wrong are you? It's I because I get flashbacks to 2008 when you had economists lining up, economists, professors, people on the Bloomberg, seeing all these people talking about, hey, things are strong, and the next thing you know, the world's falling apart. And it's like, well, wait a minute, these are supposed to be the smartest people in the room, and you realize that theory doesn't always represent reality.
Right.
I'm not saying I saw this one coming, but if you think rate changes aren't coming sooner than you thought wrong.
Right.
Because
Clearly.
clearly, because I think that look how wrong we were about inflation being transitory.
Yeah.
How we weren't just wrong, we were wrong. That's like we were so far off on that one. As far as I can tell, minus gas prices, things are still going up.
Yeah.
So we were wrong about that. We're wrong about everything at the end of the day. We act like we're these super smart people, and we got all these like brain trusts getting together, and they're going to fix all our problems. Well, how's that looking right now?
Yeah. That's true.
So it's like, I'm not paying attention to what the hell the Bank of England's doing, by the way, so I can't say I was expecting this. I just think their backs are pushed against the wall. They've already proven they don't have the answer. Their prediction was wrong. Their modeling, most importantly,
Yeah.
was wrong. And now they have no choice. And I think you're just going to see them accelerate. I just read an article somewhere, don't quote me on this one, that they said 3 rate changes in 2022 coming.
Right.
And do people automatically assume those rate changes are always going to be 25 basis points?
Maybe.
Like, that's the thing, right? We've seen the move in 25 basis points. What if they move it? What did they make bigger moves?
Yeah.
It's one of those things that we don't know what's coming because we don't know how bad inflation is really going to be here in a minute. So I say buckle up, right? How the markets react to this?
Well, everything looks to be trending positively today, which, it was surprising to me to see it, but apparently it isn't so much of a surprise.
I mean, my opinion, I looked at futures early this morning. It's probably before I even seen this, and I saw they were all green. And then when I saw this, and I'm like, well, to me, it makes sense because you and I have been talking about inflation since, well, it started, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think you and I ever, and I'm obviously not an economist, and you might be close to one, but other than
Yeah.
other than that, we don't have to be a professor of economics somewhere to say, hey, my food bill's up 30%.
Right.
Like, you and I have been talking like Panera Bread. Like, we joke about it because we both eat there, and it's like you try to pick up, food, and it's like they need a credit check. The bill's so expensive. Like, well, why did that Panera Bread cost me like $18 now, and then I eat it and I'm still hungry?
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I think we've seen this since day one, and we're not the only ones. Every American out there that had to, take a hit on their grocery bill and everything else knew inflation was a big deal.
Right.
So why I say the stock market is reacting, they're all green. They're all green right now. Why are they all green? Why is the stocks going up during a surprise rate hike? Because I think the markets know that if we don't do something, we're going to be double forked.
Bit of relief. Yeah.
It is like a bit of relief. Like, our backs are against the wall, and this inflation continues, is going to destroy us.
Yeah.
And what are your tools then, Kane? Our best tool is printing more money. We love to print money. Congress loves passing bills. They love coming up with catchy names for them. And the last thing we need to do right now is put more money in the system. And that's our biggest tool. The next one is lowering or raising rates. Well, our rates already been nothing. So what do you do? No, now we got all this extra money in the system. You got to get it out. So what do? You brought this up before. Do you like purposely crash the economy, or do you raise rates, which will still probably crash the economy?
Right.
We got too much money too fast. Two things, multiple things happened, but $6 trillion in stimulus. When I say stimulus, whatever, this money that was pumped into the system one way or another through unemployment. I saw $54 billion went to the airlines, for example. The stimulus checks themselves, all these extra programs we're doing. The people who weren't paying their rent, mortgages, school loans, which we talk about often.
Yeah.
There was so much, and then the stock market went bonkers. And then cryptos went bonkers. So now we had 6 trillion pumped in, and then wealth went up by what? How much did wealth go up in 12 months?
Oh, a lot.
A lot. And then they're saying the boomers are sitting on $68 trillion in cash right now, in assets. So you pumped in trillion after trillion after trillion after trillion, and then the stock market went up like crazy. Everyone just got, there's money everywhere now. So how do you get that money back out of the system to get inflation down?
Yeah, that's true. What about looking at, so this is of course England doing it. We haven't, over here in the States, we haven't done anything like this just yet. Does this signal also like some sort of forward looking perspective on how they feel that they can react to, let's say, Omicron is more serious than we think, or there's another variant or another variant? Because if like for example, if we raise rates, we then take a little bit, like we take a tool out of our toolkit in being able to then fight Omicron going forward, or whatever, future variant there is. So does your mind go to anywhere where it relates to COVID?
The only thing not really, because I started looking at how much wealth. Let's just talk money. How much money is in the system right now from the wealth that was gained on cryptos and the stock market, plus the trillions, right? I'm going to keep referring to it as a trillions because I'm not sure we even know how many trillions. More than 6, we'll say that.
Okay.
King,
6+.
Raising rates by 0.25% is not enough to suck money out of the system to fix this issue. Think about how much money, how much like liquidity or the money supply, right? How much money do they need to get out of the system to dial back inflation at this point?
Right. Oh yeah, a ton.
Yeah, a quarter basis point's not going to get it done. I'm starting to worry that 1, 2, 3%'s not going to get it done. And I don't know, you probably weren't even an adult back when interest rates were like 6 or 7%. Would you be surprised if that's what happens?
The flip side to raising it to 6-7 though is that, doesn't it affect our cost to service our debt? And if at that point it becomes so expensive that we like probably need to default, right?
I don't know if we're going to default, but you brought that conversation before. Like, do you purposely crash the economy
Right.
to get inflation under control? I don't know if you can pull up a mortgage calculator really quick.
Let me do that here. Yep.
All right, just leave it right there. 30 years at 3.5. That's, I think you can get one for like $299 right now. Put $299 in there. $1,000 a month, right? Now do that at 7%.
Oh dear.
And that what you're watching right now is the housing market getting destroyed.
Yeah, right. Your monthly payment went up like more than 30%.
And but the issue is there's so much money out there that inflation could rage like a wildfire for years. And what's one way you could do that right now? Crash the stock market down 10,000 points, evaporate the money out of the market, and then that money's not getting put back in the economy anymore, right? You still got all that other money that was pushed in the system. How do you get that out?
Mm-hmm.
Interest rates, and maybe you only well, King, like if they depends how much they bump rates up. That rate, I don't know. Obviously, like if the government's charging 6% on their money, then the mortgage company doesn't charge 6%. They'll charge more than 6%. So that rate could be even worse. Right. Like a 70s type of inflation, but we just have too much money. We have a consumption issue because we have too much liquidity. And that's where I don't know. Like what is your answer? Not like you, but what's our answer right now to either get people to slow down on buying stuff or get the money out of the system? It's at a point where it's so much money. But Kane, that's our biggest trick, is putting money in the system. So that trick's gone. And we're going to raise rates, and that's going to start slowing down the housing market and like car purchases. So you can see where that could help. But then, well, that's also going to start to like hurt jobs because we're not building homes. We're not going to build as many cars.
Yep.
There's long-term effects here. So I think what happens is you raise rates, you crash the market one way or another. And then you probably come back and you lower rates again and do stimulus to get the economy moving again. It's almost sickening when you think about it. So if you go back last year and you look at, we just spent too much money. I look at like this stuff's on Trump and Biden's watch. We just thought we could throw money at the issue. And I think there was times where we're doing stimulus when we didn't even need to do stimulus.
Yeah.
Between the unemployment, Kane, why did you need more stimulus? Like,
Yeah.
and we went very heavy-handed, and we are paying the price for it now. So, yeah, I don't know what you do, man. I sent you a post. I was looking at a piece of audio equipment, and there was a comment from somebody, and they were talking about, I like my audio interface, but I got a COVID grant, so I bought this $1,000 interface, and if I didn't get the grant, I would have just been using my old interface, and I would have been happy with that. And I'm like, you basically just went and spent $1,000 on something that you didn't even need, just because there was $1,000 floating around. Does that not sum up everything going on in the world right now?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
We just got too much bloody money floating around.
Yeah. I like what you did there. You tied it back to the English thing.
Yeah, I figured you would catch that. I'm clever once in a while, but I just don't like every path out of this. You ever see those like Tough Mudders where the end of it, if you want to finish it, you have to run through there's like wires hanging down and you get shocked.
No, I've never seen that.
Oh, it's kind of funny. Go watch it sometimes.
Okay.
So at this point, you've like went through water, you're sweating, you're like highly conductive, and you got to run through this area of these bare wires hanging down, and every once in a while, one wire is like 30,000 volts, and then you just get zapped. Like it's like bzz, and you see someone just like their legs fall out and they just melt to the ground.
That's funny.
I kind of feel like that's where we're at with this, where we will get through it, but we're going to have to go through a maze of 30,000 volt wires, and it's going to be painful. There's no way to come out of this unscathed. It's every tool we have does not take us down a good path.
Right.
So that's a scary thing to me anyways.
Yeah.
Check out that Yahoo thing again. Like that was pretty. It wasn't even interesting because I think it's something we already knew. But I mean, yeah, we saw gasoline up. Rental cars are up. Used cars, 30% is about right, Kane. I still have people contacting me trying to buy my truck. To me, for way more money than I think it's worth. But if you want to pay me that much for it, yeah, I'll sell it to you. Hotel rooms is interesting because hotel rooms are up, but airfare is down. Huh.
Yeah, interesting correlation. Yeah.
I think a lot of people are traveling by car right now too, though. I feel like furniture's up more than 10%, and the other thing, you can't even get furniture. When I set up the new studio, anything that I liked was 8 months out. And then when you talk to the people on the phone, they're like, "Well, the website says 8 months." I'm like, "Oh, cool. We can maybe get it a little sooner." They're like, it's probably more like 10 months, James. So, yeah, 10 months to get a chair, King. 10 months to get a couch.
I have one I could sell you.
Yeah, I don't want that couch.
At least prescription drugs are down.
Oh, yay. Food at home, 6.4. Like, really? I don't think so.
Yeah. No way.
Food at restaurants, I mean, come on. I keep saying, like, a McDonald's large fry now is like $3.50 or something. Like, I had a buddy got a family of 4. McDonald's one is like $40-$50. It was like crazy. So I don't even think these numbers are even that on point.
Yeah.
When housing 4.8%, do you believe that for a minute?
No way. Even down there, you can see. Alcohol aggregated is 1.9. That's no hope, right? No chance.
I just told you what I would pay over here.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, this is, from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Like, can we trust this data? Get out of here. No way.
Yeah, I remember hearing somewhere that the sample size that the BLS uses for these kind of things is very small. Like even the rent there for at 3%, if you take a big enough swath of people, I think it's actually much higher than that. I think it's closer to like 30%.
I mean, everything I know about the rental market right now proves that extremely wrong. It's 3% on a regular year. What are you talking? Like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
like this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. So, but again, I think what they're looking at, that overall inflation, they're trying to justify that 6.8.
Yeah.
All this does is prove how off that 6.8 number is. Like it's just way off. But they track what they track, how they track it, and this is how it comes out. And obviously, you can't ever trust what these things say. I mean, there's nothing that I've experienced in real life that says any of this is true other than gas. Maybe used cars. Other than that, like, yeah, toys. Like, we just spent like thousands of dollars on toys for tots. There's no way toys are only up 1.2%.
Yeah,
you are out of your mind. Like the amount of we buy so many toys for tots. That money just didn't go as far this year. The stuff we were buying like last year for $10 is like $15 now.
Yeah, wow.
So that's another BS one right there. And do you believe medical care is only up 1.7?
No.
How's that possible when I'm looking at companies where their group policies are going up 8 to 12% right now? We just went through COVID, mass hospitals. Yeah, you think get out of here with this crap, man.
Yeah.
That is like I can't believe hardly any of this. But hey, the government's got the answer to fix our inflation issue too. They can't even calculate the inflation rate. Kate is why I have no hope.
Yeah.
I was working on I got a beat coming out where the first minute of it is I call it the central banker intro. And it's like little clips of Jerome Powell. And when you listen to them all, you realize how wrong we were.
Oh,
and it's like,
cool.
If we were that wrong then, how wrong are we now?
That's true. Or it goes back to what you said a few episodes ago, which is like, is it that we can't calculate this stuff correctly, or is it that people are not telling us the truth?
I mean,
yeah.
I think part of it is they just don't want to tell you the truth. I think I look on the right hand side there, I think that I see the comment of thanks a lot, Brandon there. Like, I think that's the issue. I don't think that doesn't matter if Trump was in office or Biden. Nobody wants to be on the hook for bad news.
Yeah.
So do you think this wants anyone in office right now wants the real number to come out? Could you imagine if you're president and it says inflation's at 28.2%? Like,
oh my God, yeah.
You would have a negative approval rating. And you're not going to see that happen.
Yeah, it wouldn't have tell somebody who's like who was barely getting by with like, I don't know, 3 kids, that their grocery bills or their grocery allotment is only going to cover like half of what it used to cover. Like, it's just painful.
Yeah. So I just think it's one of those things where you're never going to see the real. It doesn't matter what party's in office. No one wants the real data to come out. Or we might just be completely incapable of calculating it. What has the government ever actually been really on top of?
Trading.
Yeah.
That's a bad joke.
Yeah, keep thinking, because you're gonna. Like, what is the thing? Like, you think, well, what is the government experts at? And it's basically running up debt.
Yeah, raising the debt ceiling every year.
It's one of those things that you think, if there's something that you would, there's people you go to for certain things. If I need this, these people are the experts, and they go here for they're the experts. Like, when you want it done right, what is one thing you would ever go to the government for to get things right? No. Well,
I'm really trying to scan through to figure something out.
It's talk to old people who are got what's it, Medicaid or Medicare. I talk go, look at that and look at the wars we've done and look at our tax system and look at the roads, and it kind of can't really figure out anything I'd want to call them for. I wouldn't call the government to fix my driveway. Like, so it would end up with more potholes, and I'd probably pay twice as much. So it's yeah, we're screwed, is what I'm saying. Let's enjoy it while it's good.
Yeah.
Let's just enjoy it while this is probably as good as it's going to get for a while, and we know there's a bust coming. And I don't know when that is because we don't ever know until it's like 6 months later. And oh, we just went through a bust. But we know this isn't sustainable. It's either inflation buries us or we, take a full-on uppercut swing at the economy and try to knock it off. It's like balance, and things go backwards. I just, do the rates hit next year? And then we start to see it go down, or did we start to see the effect of that in 18, 24 months after? We'll see. But it's unfortunate because I feel like if we would have handled this right, we could have had this economy that was just on fire, and we could have seen some real growth.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you can't dump that kind of money in the system and then say I want it back. You can in the form of an interest rate. And everything else collapses with it. So I don't
but
know.
Tell everybody that, right. That's a great point. Had we told everybody that before we gave the money out, I wonder if that would have done anything, right?
I don't know. I mean, could have we spent half as much and got through it just fine? Probably. And that would be $3 trillion less. And then maybe the stock market doesn't go so bonkers. So then we don't have all that extra wealth muddying the system up. And then if the stock market doesn't go as crazy, then we don't have as many people exiting the workforce. So now maybe we don't have such a worker shortage.
Yeah.
If we started looking at the compound issue of what happened dumping all the money in, all that money, a lot of it just went into the stock market and cryptos.
Right.
It went in the housing market. It just inflated all the assets, which made it, look at how many people, what was that article? It said 90% of the people that exited the workforce were over the age of 55.
Oh, it's definitely high for sure.
It was super high. I was it's like my 401k is so high. I'm out of here.
Yep.
And then now we got a worker shortage. It's there's just so many things that injection of money did, and the damage is done. And there's just no good way out of it, man. We're not going to cash or clunker our way out of this one.
Yeah,
unfortunately. So I don't know. That's all I got for this one. I don't know. I'm thinking about going and drinking that $150 bottle of whiskey that was supposed to be $89. Like the person I'm giving it to, it's I don't want to spend $150 on them. They weren't very nice this year. I'm gonna go get them a bottle of Jack Daniels. But
oh dear.
that's all I got for this one, man.
Sounds good.
Yeah.